Good morning, my friends. How are you doing today? Cheers if you're having some coffee right about now. This is going to be a little get ready with me video. I actually surveyed you all, or a lot of you guys who follow me on Instagram, and I asked, what kind of video do you need right now? And I'm definitely going to be referring to those responses again and again because there were some really good ideas. But an overarching thing that I was seeing, aside from vlogs, I see you people who want vlogs, but a big thing that you guys seem to like is just the casual get ready with me type of video. I also saw quite a few requests for my I Remember series, which is just basically where I do a tutorial with a palette that at one time was very, very popular, but has maybe kind of gone off the radar now. So I thought, let's do a get ready with me, like a shop my stash style one, and let's definitely incorporate a formerly iconic eyeshadow palette. Oh, and I would like to make it a fall look as well, very fall oriented. But I went through things last night and did the shop my stash part of it, and that's so much fun to do. I love pulling out things that are either old favorites where I'm like, oh yeah, or some other things where I'm thinking, what about that? Like that needs a little more time and a little more use. So yeah, one more sip of the coffee. I'm a little tired this morning. So when I shop my stash, I put everything in this little makeup bag, and I wanted to address, I've been asked a lot since the starter kit video about this little bag. It's a great size. It really is awesome. I love that you can wipe it down, but I'm not sure where you could actually buy such a thing. This, I can see the elephant on here. It came within the last year and a half as a Drunk Elephant PR type thing. So I wish I could tell you, here's where I got it, here's where you can buy it, but it was just part of PR that was sent. Okay, I am already moisturized, and so I'm going to pull out my primer that I chose. This is the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Primer. So I have all the different kinds. There's a extra matte one, there's just the regular. This luminous one feels really creamy, more like that hard candy one that I said, oh, this reminds me more of Tatcha. Getting closer to that Tatcha texture here. I feel just a lot more moisture. There's kind of like a soft glow to it. I don't know if you're seeing a lot of glow as I put it on. I mean, there's definitely a little drag across the skin. It's not like just a wet water weight kind of product. It's a little thick, but this one feels a little creamier than the original. Not really doing a lot for the pores, which is kind of what I think about these kinds of primers generally being good for, but I do see an all over glow across the skin, maybe a little more consistency in the smoothness of my skin's texture. And then for my foundation, here's what I chose. This is the Milk Flex foundation stick. I have it in the shade Vanilla, and I just felt like using a foundation stick, so I'm going through them all and I see this one and I'm like, I just don't have enough familiarity here, so I really wanted to use that today. So I'm just going to draw it on, swipe it all over. I love the simplicity of a foundation stick. I really like the packaging here too. And I think I'll use my RT Go brush from Real Techniques just to kind of get this in. From what I recall, you get back in there, mini brush. I was gonna say, from what I recall about this, I thought it was like a medium coverage, just kind of like middle of the road foundation stick, not too glowy, not too matte, just kind of a natural finish, medium coverage type deal. Anybody else having tons of rain right now? It just can't stop raining around here. And we had such a long dry period too. I guess we needed it to an extent, but now we got flash flood warnings. There's a phrase for that: when it rains, it pours. Okay, all blended in. Very easy to blend in, and I do like the feel. The skin doesn't really feel sticky, but that stick kind of gave me a nice little hydrated feel. And you see what I mean about the finish? Like, I don't look off the charts glowy, but I don't look completely matte either. But nice texture with that one. I do like the feel of it gliding across the skin. There's not like a big drag with it. I like the amount of product that gets deposited as you like swipe it around. For my concealer, I'm so excited. I haven't played with this one in a while. This is my Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer. I have it in SX05. So this is a big pot. Like, there's a lot of stuff in here. This is a rich concealer that like stiff peaks, okay? You take your finger off of it, that's the kind of texture we're talking about. Not like one of those solid creams, like a very opposite texture to the Mario stuff that I was using. It was like an eye base, but I was using it as concealer. Yay. This is very, very creamy, and a lot of people love it for its coverage in the under eye area. I think it does have great coverage. I just, for whatever reason, don't reach for it very often. But for as potent as it is, it's just kind of amazing that it seems like there's so much in that little pot. As you can see, I'm dabbing this over areas where I would normally conceal. I'm gonna hit right up here. I don't wanna like overload my nose, but a little bit on the sides of the nose too. A little on the chin as well. Okay, then I'm gonna take this little highlighting brush that I like to use from Real Techniques. I could see a beauty blender being real nice right about now too, but I don't have a dampened one up here at this time. So I'm just going to blend it in. My people with dry feeling under eyes could enjoy this, I think. It definitely has an ability to move across the skin. It's just very rich. Rich would be the key word, I think, to explain this texture. Who out there's using this religiously? Because I know it does have a big following. Man, that makes me feel really evened out around this area. Nicely covered, but the texture seems so skin-like. Super quality product. Like if I were a makeup artist and I needed to get somebody looking so perfected and I really didn't want it to look makeup-y, this is kind of sneaky because it really does pack a coverage punch, but I guess that cream texture just becomes so one with the skin and on the surface of the skin. You see what I'm seeing here as I kind of turn my head? Very naturally skin-like. Now I pulled out a little palette here that I once upon a time absolutely loved, and I'm not saying I don't love it still, but I just haven't used it in a while. It's my Lorac Pro Contour palette, and this is going to contain a lot of different steps for me. Part of why I loved it so much, it had these matte like powder shades here. They call them highlights, but they're just matte powders, beige and yellow tone. And then you've got a shimmer and contour shades. So this is going to cover a lot of different face steps for us right now. I'm going to go into this beige highlight shade, and these are powders that can pick up a lot on your brush. So you don't want to like scrub into them, and you do want to kind of tap off the excess. I mean, if you're familiar with the texture of Lorac eyeshadows, which yes, I'm going to be experimenting with those new Lorac palettes, so stand by on that. But if you're familiar with the softness that those kinds of things have, it's the same story with these face products. It only takes a little bit. So I'm taking that matte beige highlight shade, and I'm using this as my face T-zone setting powder. Why not? Definitely something I did quite a bit in the past. And that has a little coverage in it, you know, it really does. And I still feel like I look natural. I'm really pressing it in. And then I'm gonna just use my BK Beauty 107, and we're gonna go into light contour here and give our skin a little boost, starting with the forehead. So if you are like me and you're experiencing a lot of like rainy days right now, and maybe you've got kids that you're trying to deal with at home, I got a recommendation for you, staying with light contour here. If you get a giant box in the mail, you know, that contains some big Amazon haul or something, just let your kids grab their art supplies and completely go nuts on that thing. Like, let them just color all over it. It will go on and on and on. Boxes are fun, period, whether kids are coloring on them or not. But you let them do whatever they want with it, and they will thank you. They will enjoy that. And you know, it's like, it's gonna go to recycling anyway, so why not color all over it? Even Bubba gets into it. He realized that he could take a little crayon. We've got these great little crayons that Pup gave us back when either Belle or Biddy was really little. And they're like little flower-shaped crayons, but they're perfect for like a baby to hold in their hand and really get a grip on. And he just rams those back and forth across the box, so they like that. I can see people's takeaway from this video. Yeah, Emily gave us a real genius parenting tip. Get out a cardboard box. That's all I got right now, folks. Okay, now I'm gonna go to the medium shade. And yes, I have used the deep shade in this too, but I think you may have seen that the light gave us kind of a nice amount of actual contour there. I'm just adding to it a bit. I took off my amber necklace just for this video because I thought it kind of clashed with my shirt color, this really cool taupey color. When I'm not quite sure what direction my makeup look is going for the day, or like the lip color, which is most days, I try to grab something sort of neutral or just that I don't think is going to clash at all. So we are all contoured up now. I'm going to wait on the highlight and do blush first. I pulled out this blush from Patrick Ta, very underused. It just kind of slipped back into my stash and I have not picked it up much, but it's in the shade She's Seductive. And it's a very like neutral, what's it gonna do kind of blush. You know what I'm saying? It's matte. And I thought if we are doing a bit of a fall look, this might be nice. I got quite a bit on the brush there. That's why I immediately skipped over to the other cheek to apply a little. Rosier than you'd think, right? I don't know, maybe you would. I see some rose. I feel like the world would be a happier place if everyone put on blush. That's really pretty. Really like that shade. Why am I not busting this out more? I don't think I own anything else from Patrick Ta, but one fine day I guess I ordered this blush. I love that color. Now we roll right back into this guy, and there is, like I said, a shimmer highlight, a really pretty highlight, and it can be very, very light. So we're gonna get a little bit of that there on the cheekbone, buffing it in, super brightening. What a palette, you know? Can do so much. And I believe it even comes with a brush, too. All right, I'm feeling good about the face. And for setting mist, I'm gonna go back to this just a little bit. I need to use it up. I love the smell. Beautiful sprayer, great just feeling of the mist. Smells just a little bit like orangey. Very luxurious looking product. It's just, go ahead and use it up. Did I say that that's called Rose Gold Skin Mist? For brows, I decided to just grab out a type of product in general that I have not used in a while, and it's a brow kit like this. This is the Revlon Color Stay brow kit in dark brown, and it's got like a little spoolie brush, a little bitty one right in there, a double-ended brush here, the wax and the powder, you know, and you just can take that wax and you can start getting it through the brows, and this is going to give that powder something to cling into nicely. And really, I think this is a very good method for beginners with brows. This could have been like a starter kit item, something like this. I know e.l.f. has a good little brow kit that is this same type of format, but now I'm going into the powder with the other end of my brush. And powder is just like very forgiving in the brows, I feel like. And if you just need a little fill-in, why not? It looks super natural, especially if you've got like a fairly complete brow, but you've just got little areas in there that need a little evening out. Very simple way to go about it. For a long time, my big thing was that Too Faced, I think it was called a Brow Envy kit. It had like the wax and the different colors in it. Nothing wrong with that. Now the wax does give you some hold, but it's not necessarily a big maximum hold type deal. I don't know, did I pull out I didn't pull out a brow gel. I will just use this IT Cosmetics Brow Power Pomade. It's just a clear gel that I feel like I'm about out of, so let's try to use it up. But yeah, the wax gives hold to an extent, but I can always use a little more the way my brows are. You know what Wayne Dyer says, control what you can control. I can control my brows sometimes. I can't wait for you to see what I picked for the eyeshadow palette. I'm going to use Milani eyeshadow primer because I'm not messing around today. Okay friends, the eye palette I chose to kind of like do practically like an I remember type situation here with this video is the IT Cosmetics Naturally Pretty Matte Eye Palette. Not sure if you can still get your hands on this, but this is a total gem in my book. This is just a full selection of mattes. There's one pearly shade, but you've got just a lot of fun tones to play with here for matte shadows, and I missed this palette, and so I thought I wanted to use it today for kind of a fall look. So I am going to kick things off with Mocha right here. This is kind of like an exact match for my shirt, and that's going to be our started off crease color. I find these mattes to be super duper blendable. I wonder if they're going to re-release this. They should totally just re-release it. Like honestly, not change a thing. Do some kind of fun relaunch of this product. Re-promotion. I'm not sure if you can still get it somewhere, but they should like make a thing of it right now, right here and now in fall. It really has an opportunity to be a great fall palette. Also, speaking of IT Cosmetics, one of the reviews I've got kind of on deck for the near future is their new Big Beauty book. I've also got a lot of stuff from M Cosmetics to be talking about, probably in the coming week. Oh, meant to ask you guys, is anybody watching the new show on HBO with Nicole Kidman called The Undoing? It's got Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant. I don't know how many episodes there are. We were trying to find it. Mom said, oh, you gotta watch this, it's really good. I guess there's one episode so far, like it's a brand new show, but I'm super intrigued. Super, super intrigued. You're gonna wonder why I'm so intrigued when you like just start the episode, but by the end you're gonna be like, yeah, I need to know what's happening here. Okay, so that's mocha in my crease. I would like to go above that now and bring in a little warmth. I think I'm gonna use Sunrise. It's kind of like a goldeny matte, yellowy warm. Let that kind of come up around it. It's so easy to work with these shades. They just blend great one into the next. Okay, there's your Sunrise. Now, kind of in my sort of general pattern of application, I'll go over that and blend it with a bare brush, and then I'll use something nice and light up under the brow. Like, let's use Love right here. Love. And just pop that on for a little added smoothness there. I want to make things a little interesting. I'm going to go to Sunset right here. And I'm going to put that in my outer crease area. Adding a little just touch of that terracotta warmth. And what's interesting about this palette is, like, along with these kinds of shades, we're also going to go into, you know, blues and purples. And with that in mind, it's kind of the vibe coming out of the Viseart Neutral Mattes Malo, right? You have that really nice grouping of neutrals. There's a lot of warmth in there, but then you have like a dark blue. And then it all makes sense, you know, when you start putting those shades together on the eyes, you're like, this looks like a sunset. So we went with a very neutral, borderline, like cool type of base here. And then we started warming it up a little bit with Sunrise. We did our highlight and then further warmed it up with Sunset. Now on the outside, I think I want to take this really cool kind of purpley, dusty purpley blue called Iconic. Let's get a little bit of that and pat that on the outer corner here. It's not quite as blue as Midnight, but it's not like a real berry sort of purple. You know, it definitely has a good amount of blue presence in it. So I'm patting that there on the outer half of my eyelid. And then I'm thinking about bringing in like just a small little crease brush and maybe going into Java. Java might be that nice shade that kind of merges the warm and the cool, like a really dark looking burgundy brown. And what about working that into the outer crease and kind of making a little bit more of a dramatic shape out of this actually. See what I'm getting at there? Haven't really blended it out, but just tap in, hit the crease. Now if you did this kind of look with Viseart, it would just be a little more pronounced color-wise. Like these colors all, I'm not saying they're not pigmented because they are, but just the nature of the shades, there's just a little softness to them, you know? Now that we've done that, I'm blending the edge. We talked about this before, like blending the edge, not necessarily getting in there and running it all over everything, but stick to the area that needs to be blended. If that's the edge, then stay on the edge. I feel like I need something to just kind of go over that area. Maybe a little more Sunset. Yeah. Okay, we got the depth, we've got the little bit of warmth. Maybe we work inward on the eye with a little bit of violet. Again, when we say violet in this palette, it's going to be a little more dusty. It's not going to be like pure vivid purple, obviously. But we take a little bit of that. And then innermost corner, I'm thinking of just going for the Transforming Pearl and using that as like a little inner corner highlight. Beautiful in that way. Nice and pigmented. And of course, kind of the way they marketed this palette was that that shade could be taken over any of these mattes and change the look to an extent, you know. I kind of like it on its own, like as a little spotlighting color. Things aren't quite looking right to me right out there. A little more Iconic. We've got a hint of fallout. Not a lot though. I say on the underneath part, let's stick with that Iconic color and just pull that down under. Isn't some of the fun with a makeup look just like not really knowing where you're going with it all the time? Just having that freedom, you got a palette out, it could go so many different directions. And it doesn't really matter. It's your face. It doesn't really matter how it turns out. I'm feeling pleased with my little refresher from that palette. It's been a while. I pulled out an eyeliner that's kind of underused here, the Stay Put eyeliner pencil from Milani in the shade called Duchess. So it's sort of plummy. I must have looked at this and thought, maybe I'll go in a plummy direction, at least for a little bit of the look. So I'll use this. It's just very deep and dark. I'm not sure the plum is really standing out in a big way, but I'll take this across my upper lash line. I kind of like that depth, but it's not real stark like a liquid liner would be, you know? It's meshing with those tones kind of nicely. And there is a, there's a sharpener and a smudgy tip at the end of that if you want to use it. Now I do want to brighten up my lower inner rim. I'm going to use my ABH double-ended for that, just to wake up the eye a little bit. Guys, I just did something crazy for added brightness. I just popped into Sheer Joy, this matte creamy shade, and I just like ran it under the eye. Crazy, I know. For my lashes, I pulled out this. I think I had gotten this not all that long ago. I've not been using it a bunch, but kind of on the topic of tubing mascaras and things that won't smudge, I think this was brought up to me as something I should try or retry. I'm pretty sure I had it way back in the day, and I remember not liking it as much as original Double Extend. You know, the Double Extend with the white on one side and the gold on the other? That thing like got me through college. Like, that was my mascara. But this one, I don't know, I just thought for this Shop My Stash, why not? Let's give it a shot. I don't have many mascaras really just like sitting around in my collection going unused that I go back to after a period of months or something. Like, that's not really what I have going on here. I have a pretty minimal amount of mascaras just in the rotation all in all. But this was the one that I saw and thought, that's kind of a little forgotten. There's that white primer, you see it going on? I'm trying to make sure I get every lash with it, but yet not get too much on any one lash. And this is called the Beauty Tubes mascara, so tubing. And now with the top coat, I wish it was kind of laying on a little bit more. Like, considering that I've got two things on there right now, essentially like 2 coats of product, I feel like it should look like more. Camera kind of cut out on me there for a minute, but I just forged ahead with the application of that mascara. Good length, gets a little squirrely as you start to build on it to a point, because like I just kept wanting more and more and more thickness, length, whatever to give me, and the ends get just a little funky when you try to go too far. Overall, I think it's a stronger lengthening mascara than it is a thickening mascara. Part of me wants to try that primer with just like Lash Paradise on top and see what happens. Granted, that's not the tubing benefit, but just a little bit curious about that. And then for the lips, I pulled out this Fenty Stunna lip paint, and this is in the shade Uncuffed. I actually pulled out a couple different options, just depending on what tone the eye went in. Here I feel like there's maybe, you know, a hint of warmth, but really it's kind of neutral. And I really like these. They're a glass bottle, and the applicator is one of the best for any liquid lipstick. See how it goes in and then back out, and you got this nice little flat area to apply the product. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Oh yeah, and it's thin as all get out, you know, like it's super thin. If you try to make an effort like I do to get the minimal amount on, just so you can have the most comfortable wear, this will give you like thin. Do a little blot there, and then just smooth it out. Not going back for more. Like, that little flatness gives the perfect Cupid's bow shape. I'm sorry guys, you're not going to see me cutting across my Cupid's bow hardly ever. You know, like just in an effort to make really full lips, people go right across there. I think that's a beautiful thing. I love that little notch. Pretty color, nice formula, nice applicator, totally rediscovered. My hair, I think the hair's best off just staying where it is. I'd love to hear in the comments section like what things in this video caused you to have a little bit of a rediscovery, what things impressed you the most. For me, I really loved getting back to my Lorac Pro Contour palette. I think that's such a quality product. This lip product, love that. Great Dusty Rose. The Patrick Ta blush was a really nice little rediscovery. The Kevyn Aucoin, here's something I need to be busting out a little bit more as just a nice coverage but very skin-like looking under eye concealer. This, of course, we got to give props. The matte matte queen. And the things that were just kind of okay, the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Primer, I just feel like I'm gonna reach for that kind of texture when I want a little more work done on the pores, a little bit more of a smoothing thing happening. And that one, while I like the texture, it doesn't really handle the pores so much. The Milk Stick, I think is a solid foundation stick. I don't know, maybe I need to play with it even more. My past concerns with this may have been a little staying power oriented. I need to just like refresh my memory on that. So that's part of what's happening today. The Color Stay Brow Kit is good, solid product there. The Double Extend Beauty Tubes, just not huge on this. But thank you guys so much for watching. What's the latest thing you've shopped your stash for that you really enjoyed and really glad you had a rediscovered moment with? I so appreciate you taking time out of your day to join me today, and I will see you again very, very soon. Bye.